I crown you, Joshua, first of your name, king of cover crops.
I am now Sir Josh.
Hi, welcome back to Tailgate Talks. I'm Tyson Martmoss, and with me is the king of cover crops, Josh Plueger. Josh, we've kind of did what's this, our third
one? Yeah.
Tailgate Talks on cover crops, and we've kind of talked about the wide array of different things, I guess.
Over the years, we've kind of learned a bunch of different things, right or wrong. It's getting more involved in our decision making. If we're going to do it for weed control, if we're going to do it for forage, things like that. Different options that we've had for cover crops in the past have been pretty much winter rye, oats, radishes. People know those things. As we're going forward, we're getting in spring barley for a winter kill option. It's got a smaller seed. Doesn't take as much water to germinate, and it also can help mitigate saline soils, or if you have high manure applications and don't want a salt burn for your cover crop, it's a good way to help mitigate some of that salt. Another option that we're putting into effect this year is being able to have a forage winter rye. It's still a typical winter rye, but it doesn't get as tall, and the forage quality is better, and it also tillers better, so you still get as many tons, and can also help with weed control.
So on that option, you would either bale it or chop it in the spring and then plant a different crop into it.
Correct.
Probably have to go to soybeans or a little bit smaller day corn behind it.
Yeah. And another option too behind your cover crop, if you are going to cut it or chop it, is to be able to use sorghum. That way you don't have to have a grain crop of soybeans behind it. You can get another forage crop off of it and still stay on a continuously forage rotation. Corn, rye, sorghum, and go back to corn the next year. Another thing with sorghum too, it also does help with rootworm control. The roots of the sorghum are actually toxic to the larvae. So if you're wanting to get out of the rotation and still keep your forage, your corn, it's another good option to help mitigate that insect pressure.
So we've talked about a wide array of different cover crops. Is there a wide array of different application methods to these cover crops?
Yeah, depending on what time of during the cover crop season you want to apply it. If you know your harvest is going to be later, being able to put it on with an airplane or be able to interseed it with a Haggie are two good options. Another way we can do it is just to go put it down with fertilizer, broadcast it by itself with a ground rig, or wait until after harvest is done and then drill it in and get the best possible seed establishment that you can that way.
When you talk about this timing, is it usually mid-August, late August, kind of the start of applying rye? When do you want to go apply a cover crop to a standing crop?
Cover crop seeding into standing crop, you probably want to do about mid-milk on corn, or when the bottom leaves on your soybeans first start turning yellow and falling off. If you get too late, you start knocking over your grain, affecting the standability of it. If you go too early, you possibly can ruin your pod set or your ear fill.
And speaking on timing, there's some important timing on filling out paperwork and applying to cover crop programs, isn't there?
Yeah. The sign up in Iowa for getting cover crop acres signed up is the 31st of July. In order to plant it, you got to have your winter kill options in the ground by September 18th. And then your winter hardy, like your winter rye, winter wheats, those are October 31st.
And in South Dakota, it might be the same. It'd be worth, if you're South Dakota and you're thinking about cover crops, just reach out to your local USDA office or NRCS office, and they'll let you know the deadline.
Yeah, your county NRCS office is your best option to go to. They'll help you fill it out. They can, help you work through all that paperwork and just let you know what'll work and what won't. They also have the seeding rates, everything else that you have to do as a minimum for requirements.
All right. And I guess if you got any other questions on cover crop, reach out to your local FCS agronomist. And thank you for joining us today. Hi, welcome to
Tailgate Talks.
Fail. So with cover crops, rotation's a pretty important thing, correct?
Correct.
You want to expand?
No, not going to. I'm just going to let you run.